What is going on, guys? And welcome back to another episode of the Staincast. Of course, I'm one of your co-hosts, Mr. Stephen E. With me, as always, he's below me. I don't know where he is for you guys
Top
right
left.
now,
I'm top
but
left
he's
for
below me right
myself.
now, Mr. LD.
It's like Usher and that Brady Bunch shit.
Yeah.
I'm like Xander's right here.
Yeah.
That's where you are on my screen.
Yeah.
Fucking,
We're all mixed up.
yeah. We got Smoke. We got the kid. They're back. They had to tap in for this one because, as you guys are aware, it's our first TV show and a banger at that. We're covering The Last of Us Season 1 this week. You know, give you guys a little taste of what's to come once we're back from our break. So we wanted to come out with a fucking banger, and this was, of course, what we
The
chose.
business end.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Needed this. A fantastic series on HBO Max, HBO Original. Fantastic game to start with. But before we get into that, I don't actually think there's anything we need to get into beforehand, now that I'm thinking about it.
Any news or anything we got or not?
We talked about Guardians last week and y'all weren't on it. Any thoughts on Guardians that you didn't think that we friggin' said? If
No
you watched?
spoilers. No spoilers, of course.
We're still not doing spoilers?
I mean, yeah,
It's
what's
been 2
good with that?
weeks.
We don't do
What's good
spoilers
with that?
usually.
Nah, I feel like we have. When we were doing the MCU, when we were doing TV shows, then we established like the Monday after was like that fucking grace period. Like when it came out like on a Thursday
Oh,
night
yeah,
or a
you're right.
Wednesday
You're
night.
right. You're right. You are right.
We had like that grace period. So the grace period is past. First of all, if you haven't watched Guardians by now, you don't really care too much about it. Like
Also true.
I mean,
Marvel ain't worth it, so it's all right.
Guardians.
I don't blame you. It's a good movie. but I
Guardians
don't
is worth it. Guardians is worth it, but Marvel's not.
Yeah,
It was
that's
a
right.
very good. It was a great movie. I already spoke my piece on it. I don't. Did you guys have anything else to say on it, or we're good?
I know some of you guys are sucking that like there was no character deaths like the fake outs, but I'm happy none of them died. Like
This was
I thought Rocket, if anyone would, Rocket would, but I'm happy they actually kept.
Then don't put the
his
fake
backstory
outs
was too
in.
harsh. Yeah, I
don't
get
put the
that.
fake outs in.
Don't do that. But
Because
I'm happy they
I
all
mean
got their nice
we
send-off.
talked about it. We talked about it last week. The way Finn was Quill was looking is fucking ridiculous.
He was dead.
Like
he
the
was
way
dead. Like honestly, he was dead.
Pete.
he shouldn't have been alive, but
They
I thought
shouldn't
for
have
sure he was
like
dead.
CGI'd it like that. Yeah, he looked
Yeah.
he looked fucked. He wasn't alive.
regardless, it's a good movie. Definitely watch it.
Great movie.
I think
yeah.
it's worth the
definitely. Yeah.
Especially compared to what we've had. Actually,
Well, yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't like to speak on it.
Well,
That's something
unfortunately,
we couldn't even
after
talk
next
about.
week, but we'll get into that at the end of the video.
Oh no, are you doing
We don't have
Quantumania?
Who needs
We'll get to
that?
that at the end of the
Any
video.
of y'all need
I'll
that?
I'll hop in. I got some shit I want to talk about over
Yeah,
that.
we'll talk about that later.
Got some
we do
dirty
that,
laundry
though-
to air out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got some shit that
He's
needs to
being
be
cast
said.
as New Kang. He's gonna
I
drop
should,
it on your
honestly.
Staincast.
Yeah,
Before
live
we
on the
talk about
Staincast.
that, 'cause that's still a fucking week away, motherfuckers. Shut the fuck up. That's still a week away.
Yeah, my dick.
Fuck you, bitch. Talk about something that's actually good with The Last of Us Season 1. I'm just going to go,
Phenomenal show.
yeah, I'm
Pedro Goat.
clockwise with my screen right now. And Smoke, would you like to start with your favorite and least favorite characters?
We're probably all gonna have like the same favorite characters. I'll break the ice with Joel because Joel's that man. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
Pedro,
literally got nothing to say about that.
He's
I think like this show personally, like I feel like they kind of fleshed Joel out more, which is like weird to say because like we had a whole video game with them, but like they like cracked his shell a little bit more in this show, which I actually appreciated honestly.
well, so that is one thing that I will say that this show did, which fucking they need to do with every video game adaptation, is they took, so obviously the parts that aren't cutscenes that you're playing through, but they turned it into more stories. Like the biggest example of that is episode 3, where we literally get in complete development of characters that we don't see
Shit is
in the
wild.
video game.
Mhm.
And they do a lot of that with Joel, with Ellie, with even some of the side characters. And it's
Everybody gets like a decent amount of screen time in this show, like enough time to flesh everybody out. Like I think it's really impressive.
exactly. I mean, that whole
Yeah.
episode, the entirety of episode 3 is not even about Joel and Ellie
Yeah.
whatsoever. Like,
They slide in like the
Yeah.
last 5 minutes of the show.
Yeah.
and it still works. But I mean, yeah, Joel is phenomenal. I mean, Pedro plays it perfectly.
Even Ellie.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah,
Ellie.
Joel and Ellie.
Ella Ramsey is like fucking phenomenal as Ellie. She really
yeah.
like nails down the mannerism in the voice.
I was
really
a little
Wild.
I was a little cautious of her casting before
Yeah.
the show came out. But
She doesn't look like her, but she's
No,
so good, man.
but I was like,
She's so good.
she proved that she is definitively like she is
She's
Ellie.
awesome.
Yeah, she is the live action version of Ellie.
Yeah, no complaints here. I was skeptical, like you said, but like I think that she killed it. She made the role her own, and I think that's all you really need for like because Pedro took his own thing. It's a TV adaptation. Like you don't need a 1-to-1.
Even though they do 1-for-1s and they hit
on the parts that matter, you have to.
I was like, but we'll talk
We
about
gotta
that
get
when
into
we get
that.
to scenes. We'll talk about that in scenes. But Xander, do you have anything different or that you wanted to add?
Nah, we'll talk about more shit later.
All right.
You got more to say.
I got more to say
Yeah,
later. Yeah. Not right now.
Should I do my
Just
least
right
favorite
now.
character as well, or are we gonna cycle?
Oh yeah,
around
yeah,
one
yeah.
bit?
You could do your least favorite as well.
For that's a little harder. I feel like there's not many characters on this show. Of the named characters, probably that one bitch from the Kansas City quarantine
Yep.
zone.
Okay. Yeah.
I think she's just the weakest link in an otherwise really strong show. And I mean, she was good. I'm not saying she was shit. She was just the weakest link in what
Well,
I think was a
she's
great
also
show.
completely new to the show.
Right, and
Yeah.
that's not a coincidence, I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The story wasn't built on that same bedrock that everything else was. Like everything else, I mean, well, I'm sure we'll say it a million times, but like half this show is literally just snippets of the video game, like just putting it like with a real camera,
Yeah.
actually shooting it. Like it's for a
Which is-
reason.
Shots are the same.
Which is a good thing. Like that is
Yeah.
what you
Yeah.
need to do in certain situations.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
But I
I
definitely
think
agree
that's
with
all
you,
I can
Smoke.
really say on that.
Before it even comes back to me, I'll agree with you with that too. Just so I don't
I
have
just
to
feel like
rehash
it's
it.
it's pretty hard because everybody was great, but it's just like
So
Yeah.
I don't know. Her
The
story
only-
didn't get me as much as everybody else's.
the only thing
Yeah.
that I could say to that is just because we know that she exists, I'm throwing Abby in here now. She's my least favorite
That's
character.
That's fine.
That's your least
I'm
favorite.
with
That's
it.
already?
She
goaded. That's
exists.
goaded.
We just know she exists, so she's my least
Yeah,
favorite.
that's goated as
fuck
fuck.
with it, yeah.
I can match
I'll fuck
that.
with it.
Fuck
But
that bitch.
but I think besides that, out of the actual characters in the show, I can agree with you. I mean, we can't even remember her name for
Also, the way
fuck's
she dies is just so
Kathleen.
like off screen. Kathleen, thank you. Yeah,
sake.
it's also just
I
like
can't keep calling
it's
her
just
that
super-
bitch.
Yeah, I say it's bad. It's bad for PR.
Yeah,
Guys,
but-
even the way she dies was super freaking like kind of just like
Oh.
nonchalant. Like how everyone else kind of just like died the same exact way she did. Like I feel like because the guy died from the freaking
Oh,
bloater.
from the
She just
blower.
got
Yeah,
killed by
you're
some
right.
random.
You're right. Yeah.
She just got killed by some random like kid zombie / whatever the hell that
It was
thing
like
was.
pretty underwhelming
Clicker.
after like everything that she like. You spend all this time developing her, that she gets tossed.
In
Yeah,
the
like
same
you have all
episode.
this.
In the
It's
right.
like
Is
she-
it-
Yeah, same episode. Yeah, it's all. I think it's all in the same episode. And
Yeah.
it's just exactly like when you have it in the same episode like that, like it just you don't have that breathing time where it's like, all right, let this character settle a little bit because she's an intriguing character. I think is because of how much we don't see, like all the like her
Yeah.
brother, the whole revolution leading up to it, and it's another part of the ambiguity of the show where it's like, who's even in the right in that situation? Like, should you be upset that these rebels who just beat off Fedra are now dying, or should you be like, there's just always so many questions on like who's actually like who's the quote unquote villain, like good and bad. Like it really kind of like leans more towards
Yeah.
like, is there like a good and bad compared to like who is like in the show?
It's
Like
not as
everyone
black and
has
white
their
in the show.
Yeah.
like you can't just like it's not just a point blank like, oh yeah, good, evil, and you can't just like
Yeah,
sort them
And-
out like that, especially when you have characters like Kathleen.
Personally, I think that the ending hits of the show better than the game, even though it's pretty much the same ending. But I think that it hits a little better because we constantly kind of have that running theme throughout the show of no one's really morally right or wrong in this.
Yeah, every character we meet, they've done some fucked up shit. Which I was
Yeah, it's
gonna
like you have
lean
to.
back on. I was gonna go back on the Kathleen part. Like, I get where they were going with their death because she died from a kid. The whole thing
Yeah.
was that she was mad at Henry for saving Sam. She literally says that maybe the children are supposed to die. Like, that's just the way life goes. And then a fucking clicker who's a kid kills her.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's what they were setting up. Like, but I agree, it was a little rushed. But they can't linger on that character too much because they got
No,
a
for
whole
sure.
like game narrative they actually have to
Yeah.
go through. So I'm
Like,
happy
the
they
spotlight's
added
on Joel
more.
and Ellie.
But yeah, I'm happy they added more because in the game, that whole section with Henry and Sam, you're not really interacting with anyone besides like that truck trying to gun you down the whole time. You know?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, So this is going back to just talking about just the clickers and bloaters in general. I mean, first off, they look phenomenal. The practical effects is
Yeah,
fantastic.
they
Yeah,
weren't.
the
I
bloater,
mean,
especially the bloater.
you should see the budget for this show. You wouldn't be
Oh,
as surprised.
it is so absurd. But
They
Yeah.
knew the money shots too.
my one issue is it is a post-apocalyptic show, and we see zombies, clickers, like
I was
Yeah.
gonna say that
three
at some
times.
point too.
Yeah,
I
that's
was
like
gonna
the
say that
one.
too, and I was even gonna pose the question where it's like, is that like I feel like I'm more interested in the character driven story anyways because we even spoke
Yeah.
about it on Zombieland where it's like, all right, we kind of know the rules of the apocalypse like just from all
We've
the other
seen
media.
it so many times.
Yeah.
Yeah, we played it so many freaking times. Like
Yeah.
it's just
I
like
don't need to see too
especially
many
with-
clickers because I've killed them so many
Yeah.
times.
exactly, and
It's like it works and it doesn't at the same time. Like that's I'm not
Yeah.
complaining about it,
it's just
but I'm
weird.
not. It's weird. Exactly, it's weird.
I would say it's weird.
without zombies.
Because what I would say why it's so weird is because in the game, like there is no just like, oh yeah, we're just gonna be in a cutscene for the next 20 minutes. Like at most points, unless you're in a settlement, you're killing those things. Like you're killing the freaking infected. So it's like you can't just have. I mean, like that's not the decision that they chose. To just always being like, all right, now we're fighting these guys. We're in some place we shouldn't be, like fighting freaking walkers or whatever you want to call them. And I don't even know what the hell they call them. I feel like everyone calls them different things, but it's just like what makes it so weird is the fact that the game is about the infected, at least for the most part. But the show is obviously friggin' a lot more character driven, and there's, like you said, very little appearances. I mean, they're fucking hideous. I can't believe that bloater's practical. I love seeing that set photo.
Yeah,
of him.
yeah, that's true. But I guess I don't know if anybody wants to add anything else to favorite and least favorite characters. I mean, we spoke about Joel, we spoke about Ellie.
I mean, shout out everybody who was in the show.
Yeah.
Sam,
Yeah,
Henry,
shout out
everybody-
Marlene.
Hold on.
David.
Let me
Like
look at the
everybody
cast
was
real
awesome.
quick.
Everybody was
Let me
awesome.
see the
Marlene. We're missing Marlene.
Marlene was nice. Yeah, I like Marlene.
Yeah.
She's all, well. To be fair,
She's
also-
literally she was the character from the
I was gonna say she's the only
Yeah.
actor that
Yeah.
plays the character in both the game and the film. And
That's
and the
kind of
show.
That is
unfair. It's
honestly
kind of
so
unfair.
cool.
Like
Yeah.
she leans
Literally
back
had-
into
she
that
knows.
role.
Literally.
That is so cool to me how they like literally casted her.
Exactly. And she looks
Yeah, the
freaking
whole cast
just
is
like
like
she
that,
did in the
honestly.
game too. Like makeup on
Weird.
point. I mean, we said it with the practical with all the fucking zombies and shit. Like, holy smokes.
Yeah.
Everything. Like
Even-
the wardrobe
even-
on point. Forget about
Even
it.
that doctor they added like episode 3. What was his name? They added that doctor who did that whole scene. Like I feel like that was phenomenal.
No.
Or the first episode, the introduction. Like
Oh,
I
yeah.
like how they added that.
The
For
one in
the show.
episode 2.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
So
Yeah, like
those
the
whole, like-
before the credits. Yes.
Yeah. Like those whole scenes, like they add to the show, like it just builds the world and the lore so much. It's nice.
Mhm.
Yeah, that shit
That
was
shit's
epic.
nice.
The first one, especially from the start one when he's talking about.
Yeah,
the-
that's my
it was
favorite one. Yeah,
So tough,
What is
man.
Who
that shit got me
lose?
right into the show. Like the first
Yeah.
episode's probably my favorite. The first and last are probably.
Well, it just
my
encapsulates
favorite.
you so like because it just jumps
Yeah.
right into that. And then he's spitting, and then
Yeah.
you're starting to think
Yeah.
it's like stuff like this could actually happen. Like,
Yeah.
and it very much is
It-
well encapsulated.
It's yeah, it's just a great precursor. It's like I think for the most
Arms
part,
up.
actually, I wouldn't even say that because this was such a super popular show. I would say I was gonna
Yeah.
say for the most part, people have watched it. They played the game before, so they kind of know what they're getting into. So they're like, all right, fuck, it, we'll just throw a little curveball at them. But I feel like it's like pretty split between like people who haven't watched and people who have watched. Just because I mean, his pull
Pedro
alone will
alone.
bring in a lot of people.
Yeah.
Exactly, and like for people who don't
Mhm.
even play video games necessarily are gonna be like
Pedro puts asses in
Pedro.
seats.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Pedro, they pulling up.
I will
Mhm.
say though, I don't think that there's a single thing that they added to the show that wasn't in the game that didn't hit. I think that everything they added was like I don't want to say necessary, but it helped the story so much better than like it helped just develop more of the world. Like we had that extended intro with Sarah.
Yeah.
We have
Mhm.
that extended
We
issue.
got way more than with Sarah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that I
Exactly.
feel like we needed.
Yeah, that was
definitely needed that because when she
It-
got
it-
it,
Another.
more into Joel's mindset of like how he was with his daughter, how he lost his daughter, like getting just more of that first day or day zero effect, and then following more of Sarah's story. It just you see how much
I mean, that's what makes this shit so good. Is because like the scenes that you can't, like I said before, you can't just toss in a video game. Like, all right, let's actually explore this now. Now that we're literally just rolling, like we're just freaking got a camera. Let's like we don't have to worry about somebody sitting behind a controller. It's like people are watching.
Yeah.
It's like you can actually show.
And that's something that I think that was an issue with previous video game adaptations is it's really just Suits saw, oh, this stuff is popular, let's make something out of it. But now there's people like our ages that grew up playing these games, that grew up with these so comprehensive stories. Now we're making the movies. Now we're the generation making, so we understand, okay, this is what we should do. This is what people like us would want to see. That's why this did so well. That's why the Mario movie is as good as it is because they're finally starting to understand that even though these video games, like their stories are great and comprehensive, they don't need to be revolutionized again like they did with something like
you also have the dev of the game directing
Neil
the
Druckmann.
show.
Well, yeah, you have that too.
They got all
he wrote the story.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Hag. Though, like 100%. Like it's just something like over time we're gonna see where it's a lot less than like people just like seeing something's popular and immediately assuming that like that's what makes it popular or whatever. But now when you actually have someone to play the game, it's like they know the moments, like you said, Smoke, like where they always had they knew their money shots. Like they knew the moments that captured the people who played the game because they played the fucking game because they wrote the fucking game. Like they know they know they know those trigger points where it's like, all right, we got to be tightened up for this part. Like especially the finale.
Like,
and that's
you don't have to reinvent the wheel here. It's just like this game literally was it changed video gaming. I personally think it's like it made it more
story-wise,
exactly.
One of the best single player story games of all time.
So why change it? And that's the thing. Like this show is such a love letter to the game. It's crazy. Like it's just everything I feel is in spirit of it. Like all the changes that they do to make it for TV, I think it works and I think it makes sense. Like it doesn't feel inorganic.
Yeah. So
yeah, I feel like The Last of Us pioneered games to be more story driven. I don't feel like we would have gotten games like Horizon Zero Dawn or like God of War that are story driven. We would have gotten them, but it wouldn't have been like as popular to be just like a cinematic experience with the gameplay. Like they really pioneered that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess now
on top of Uncharted too.
Yeah, Uncharted also tough. That movie mid though.
Yeah.
Mark,
but so
I mean that movie is literally the peak of what we just said.
Mark,
he got
the drip.
Everything we just said is wrong with video game adaptations is Uncharted.
Yeah,
like everything.
Very cool.
Just plug and playing.
Awful cast.
We've been tiptoeing around it. We've been talking about it for a while, so I think it's time. Now we're going to start the opposite direction, where we should get into our favorite scenes. So DL,
oh my god,
you're below me. We'll say one, and we'll move on. There's a lot, and
yes, that's a good idea. That is a great idea.
Okay, I like that.
Next person.
Okay, I'm trying to think of like a little bit more like. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to like pick one that's like not good. Like, I mean, there's a lot that are like obviously like kind of like the shoe-ins, but I'm trying to think of like because there's one note that I put and I forgot which scene I was talking about when I said the show.
I think I know exactly which one.
Because like, I said that the show didn't take shortcuts because I just feel like there's so many scenes where they kind of just like they defy the status quo where like you think something's gonna go one way and then they kind of just completely turn it on its head. Like they don't really have that same like logic system that a lot of like the what?
My bad. I was thinking out loud. I didn't mean that. I was saying I need to get
it. But if you want to you can just double back to me because I want to figure out what this freaking scene is. I'm about to freaking look.
There's so many good scenes.
Somebody steal it.
Yeah,
I was gonna say
there's so many. I can't pick. I mean, I have like 3, but there's so many good scenes.
Yeah.
So name one for now, and then we'll come back. It's not like we're just name one for the whole thing.
Okay. I'm good. The scene where freaking Joel, where Ellie shoots that kid in the back and his freaking literally hits him in the spine. Where like it's something so little, like kind of just like a kind of a minor interaction in that larger episode. But even like the kid, like when he's screeching out, and like she hears him like screaming like for his mom and stuff, like it's just so like they really go hard for the emotions. Like they really don't play around when it comes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, perfectly said. We're like
in episode 4
when they first pulled the KC. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the KC camp. Okay.
When Ellie has to save Joel's life.
Yeah. Okay, I thought so. I just wanted to double check.
The first time.
Yeah, the first time.
Now it's coming back to me. Some of these great scenes. Fuck. But yeah, but no, that
Dude,
one I'll just say for
just
right
keep
now.
rattling them off.
Yeah.
Okay, Xander, what's your first scene?
I feel like probably the best acted scene is probably the Left Behind DLC when like fucking they both realize they're infected, like, and they're just sitting there having that 1-to-1. Like, I feel like that's like probably the like some of the best acted. And episode 1 when fucking Sarah gets shot.
No, you're missing
Those
one.
two, like,
You're missing one.
I know
You're
I'm
missing
missing
a
one.
few.
Hold on. I'm
Missing
looking
a
at
few.
my notes. I know the hospital scene. I will say Joe sliding through the hospital.
Well, somebody got to
Yeah,
break
yeah,
the
of
ice
course.
on that, of course.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
look.
But
yeah.
other than that, those are my top 3.
I'm talking about the joint when he was freaking talking, when he was confessing his shit to Ellie when they were arguing, and he's freaking literally bawling in tears.
Oh,
freaking
yeah.
Pedro putting on literally
Yeah.
the performance of the
That
year.
too.
It wasn't
That
time that
too. I
did
forgot
it.
about that.
It wasn't
one,
time that did it. That was one
Mhm.
of what I was gonna say.
That's also a really good acting scene. Like, there's just so
listen,
many of them.
Y'all are slighting when he's talking to his brother and he's talking about how all he has ever done
He's
is
getting
failure.
old. Yeah, he's getting
Yeah,
old.
dude.
Yeah.
That shit that literally wasn't even in the game either. And that was like when he's
That was
just sitting there
brand new.
just fucking and he's like breaking down in the tears. He's like, that's all I've ever done is failure. I'm like, damn, Pedro. Like you're fucking my shit up right now, bro.
So for me, I don't think there's a lot. Like you said, Xander, like just watching Joel go through looting the bodies in the hospital, just like you would in the game to get the ammo and shit, is amazing.
It just felt just like the best adapted scene from the game.
I think that I have to give it to after they leave KC when Ellie has to pull Joel when he's got when he's stabbed in the side. After he gets the penicillin and Ellie gets captured and he wakes up and he's just going to fucking town where he goes to take that one dude's kneecap off. He kills him and his buddy's like, please don't kill me. He's like, it's all right, I'll trust him. And he fucking smashes him.
I believe him.
He's like, he's like, why the fuck did you kill him? He told you what you wanted. He's like, yeah, I believe him.
Yeah. Oh, I believe
him
him.
for no reason. Shit, tough.
Like that shit is so like Pedro's putting on a fucking acting clinic. The action is just great, and it's just like you just feel how intense and how much he's like, all right, I'm saving Ellie. I don't give a fuck what you say. I'm gonna find her.
Yeah,
There's so many good scenes in this fucking show, man.
Like it's just such a shame they put his ass in a mask in fucking Mandalorian because he'd be doing it with his face too. Like that one face he makes to Marlene when she tells Joel that she's gonna that she's gonna kill Ellie, and he's just sitting there like, and he's like, I ain't gonna let that shit happen. He's like, I do. He's like, oh, I have no other option. He's like, I do. Like he's a fucking.
He should have just shot him there.
That's exactly what I said.
Like,
when we were watching, I'm like, bro, she should have put that whole building, the entire security of that building, on his ass to get him out of the building. Like 2 guys. The man made it across he made it across the country with just himself and Ellie helping out here and there. Like
they did the same thing in fucking Mando season 3, where they took 2 fucking stormtroopers to take Din Djarin. Like, what are they? Why they keep putting two people on pages?
That one's more egregious though. Like at least in this, you can say they're 2 humans with 1 guy. All right, fine. But Mando, the fucking guys wearing Beskar against clone troopers. Come on, that you guys are fucking
wearing Beskar, but besides
they had they had a cheaper version of Beskar because it wasn't built the same way like the armor.
Well, yeah, because
besides
that,
oh my god,
oh, yeah, that's another story for another.
Besides
shit, mid.
Yeah.
Nah, don't talk about mid shit. We're talking good shit.
We're talking tough shit. We're talking tough shit.
Yeah.
Or that one scene too where he's fucking in the one tower shooting down at them when all the Kansas City people are pulling up and he's sniping. And it's literally from the video game when he's just like one after the other. And his shot's nice too. He's popping.
Yeah.
Or the one of the probably most emotional scenes is when it's Sam's the one that's turned. Sam's the younger kid, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. When Sam turns and then he gets shot and then fucking Henry's like, oh shit, I shot my fucking brother, and then he shoots himself.
He's like, what did I do? Yeah, he's like, what did I just do?
Like that, like you feel that. Because like he had no choice, but then he's like, wait, what the fuck did I just do?
Like he has no purpose. Like if he's not protecting his brother, like he's like, fuck, I have no purpose. He just fucking ends it. That's tough.
I just love how like every character is like so like
well developed.
not even just that, they're just so consequential to Joel's final decision, like that. Like how you're talking about how he couldn't live without him. It's exactly what Joel was thinking with Ellie. It's like he wasn't leaving that hospital without her. He was gonna die trying, or he was gonna get
exactly.
her. Like,
he was like, either way, he's gonna die or he's gonna kill himself if he doesn't get Ellie. Like either way, like he needs her to make himself whole. Like he's not losing another daughter again. Like 100%, I agree with Joel in that situation. It's like either way, I'm dying.
I should have made that the question of the week.
Yeah.
If you
agree with
that's the
Joel.
hot button question. Like
in
that's
hindsight, I should have done that, but whatever. It's alright.
I agree with Joel.
Yeah.
Another cure will come eventually. Humanity's
should
destined to survive.
Yeah,
it's just
I
not
mean,
his
I
fucking
also
problem. Like,
That's what I'm saying. It really isn't. Like humanity.
It's not his problem. Look, this is what happens if Ellie got everything in her because her mom was bit when she was given birth. Which also great that they used the video game actress for her mom.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah.
Hats
off for that.
But what they should have done is just knock up a bunch of women, have them get bit by fucking clickers.
That's what I was
and then
thinking. I was thinking
babies
that.
pop
I'm
out,
not
we're all
gonna hold
good.
you. I'm not gonna hold
I don't
you.
think-
Yeah.
I don't think they knew.
I was thinking that too.
I don't think they knew the Firefly.
Hag's onto something, bro.
That's how
look.
Ellie was immune.
Hag's cooking right now.
What's a couple women to all of society?
I mean, especially when you're about to just kill a kid.
It's the question on a grander scale. It's like saving Ellie or doing it for all these people.
That's what I'm saying. Like what's a couple women for? Look, I'm not saying just because they're women. If men could give birth, then yeah, do it to them too. But unfortunately, we can't do that.
It depends how much you value a life. Like that's what this all comes down to. It's like, is one life worth trading for hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of people you don't know?
Millions of lives.
But he doesn't know any of these people. He doesn't care about. The whole world has wronged him from day one. They smoked his daughter. He has no reason. He doesn't owe them anything. I think what he did was right. Fuck everyone.
And that was a society post-apocalypse. Like they shot his daughter, and that was like during the fucking apocalypse happening. Like this wasn't like some fucking fireflies or people in the apocalypse. No, these are like normal people, army men. Yeah, and like that's like why that affects his decision. Like, fuck it.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, they don't. I know they don't do it in the show. It's been a little bit since I played the game, and I wanted to play it before this episode, but I haven't had time. They don't mention Joel's wife or baby mama at all, right? She just doesn't exist.
They don't say her at all. No.
That's what I thought.
No, it's just Sarah. That's the only thing that they even talk about with him.
Yeah, we don't know what's going on with that.
And then he gets.
And the last two said the last 2 cents I'll put in for the whole friggin' ethic debate of that shit is. It's also it's been so long where anyone who's been around that long is not a good person. Like they've done some vile shit, and it's
how
to survive.
Joel alone, Joel alone is literally fucking.
He is 56. How the fuck did he survive? 56.
No, I mean,
you got to be a scumbag.
That's what I'm saying. Like anyone who's alive now had to step on someone to freaking still be alive. There is no we were just cooling off for 25 years. 5 years, that's a fluke maybe. But 25 years, you know what you're fucking doing. You're hunting, you have a stable food supply. You know what you have to do. These guys are freaking animals. I would try not to be too cynical, but I mean, for 25 years, these guys are fucking evil, man. They're fucking evil.
Because it's we're trying to say no one's good or bad. In this type of society, the people who survived did what they had to survive. It's like Joel did the same thing those people tried to pull on him and Ellie in the car. He ain't even hurt. I love that scene. He ain't even hurt. Because the guy's he's done that before. That's what you have to have done early days of the apocalypse. I feel the ones who are still doing it though are the scumbags in the apocalypse.
Yeah. That's another really good scene where it's aren't we gonna stop? He's like, no. And he just fucking puts his seatbelt on. He starts fucking sliding.
Just keep going.
They have kids. So do we.
The ending of the entire show. It's it's literally
someone else will get him.
It's just you can just say the entire ending, really shot for shot from the game. First of all, when he smokes Marlene, you just come after her.
Yeah.
Between that and then when Ellie's swear to me,
he's a good guy, but
that man is bad, bro. That shit's hard.
I mean, it's just the way.
He ain't hesitate. Iconic scenes from the game.
I swear. I just love the fucking the level of brutality he fucking be putting on. I don't mean to cut you off. The level of brutality he be putting on some guys too is fucking. Especially to the Fireflies in the hospital, he just be going around shanking people and taking their kits and shit. He's with whatever.
We take. But I was gonna say, how did we not mention? Of course, the banger that is that opening apocalypse scene
Oh,
when
yeah,
they're in
that
the
shit's
for
fire.
sure.
and I love and this is goes back to everything they added specifically for the show to make it more cinematic. That plane crash
Yeah, that was cool.
That
looks
was a good
great.
looking fucking plane crash.
It looks great.
Mhm.
It adds to
Like,
the suspense to the. I mean, because that whole scene is like what 10 minutes.
Yeah,
even
like
the
the world's
sounds they
falling
be
apart.
using of like the stray screaming, the stray gunfire, like, it really is just an
Yeah, the
audio
sound
freaking
design's
mix.
really
Like
good,
exactly, yeah, like everything about it, just top to bottom. Like when you have like even the sound of the
You
plane like
immersive.
kind of rolling, like when it fucking hits the ground,
when
it's like
they're
holy
flying
shit, you can hear
over.
the engines. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. When it's like planes are loud, it's like people like I feel like in that situation you can kind of just have the action, and just like tune out the fact of how loud a fucking plane is gonna be when it's coming at you like that. Like freaking that shit was like I don't know. It's just
It's
to
I
the
just love
Like
the
I
little
said
moments
detail.
where
earlier, like episode one's probably my favorite episode. With
shit's tough.
like the finale, and I'd say the one with Ellie, the one where Ellie's doing her thing, like fucking, she has to save Joel. That's a really good episode.
That was my favorite part of the game, so I'm a sucker for that.
Hmm.
Okay, yeah. So all right, I guess we'll go into this. You know, I did want to throw this in as a new segment for the when we're talking about TV shows. Is of course our favorite episodes. So Xander, you said 1, 7, or 9.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fuck.
No,
Um.
yeah. The one, no. So the one before the finale and the finale, I love those two in episode one. So
Oh,
it was
okay.
an 8, 9, and
1,
1.
8,
Yeah,
9. Okay, 1, 8, 9. Okay, those
yeah.
are all phenomenal.
Even the Left Behind DLC, I like that episode too. But
So I think
it's tough.
for me, I have to give it to 1, 3, or 9 because one,
Yeah,
one
3 is tough too.
the opening, it's phenomenal. Like we get thrown right into it. It's great, and it leads us off with a great cliffhanger, leading into the rest of the story. 9, it's literally like 9 is all intents and purposes like pretty much 100% one for one to the game. Like it's
Yeah.
Mhm.
phenomenal. The ending is
That's why
like
I love it.
this is like if
Exactly.
you
You can't fuck it up when you literally just pull it right from the game. Like that's when
yeah,
you
that's
know
what I'm
you
saying.
Yeah.
can't fuck it up.
It's
Like
very
that's
hard. So like, when you pull like the last like 45 minutes of that game and just put it into an episode, it's phenomenal. Great. I have no complaints.
Mhm.
And then 3. 3 is pretty much the entire episode is its own new story, barely has anything to do with the main story, and it is so intriguing and it is interesting, and you see these characters get built up and built down and
Hmm.
broken, and when they like at the end when they finally decide that they're going to go out together because they're happy, they and it goes to what we keep saying, and what adds to Joel's story
Yeah.
is without each other they had no purpose, like Joel with Ellie, like
Yeah.
Henry and Sam, and it makes the ending even better, in my opinion.
I might
The
I might
letter,
have to put
the
that
letter,
episode in my
really.
top 3 now. That episode,
Well,
I forgot about that episode. It's really good.
Well, the letter that Ellie reads is literally fucking the biggest foreshadowing ever about Joel. It's like when he leaves that letter, it's like that's what we do. We're put on this earth to save people. It's like
Mhm.
yeah, and even Tess too when she talks about like just save one person. It's just like all the breadcrumbs are there, and it's just so damn good. Tess was awesome too. Nick Offerman was great. I feel like there's so many people in this fucking show that are just
That
awesome.
episode is the greatest feat of the show. I feel like because it shows like the writers aren't shit. Like they don't need the game material to make a really good episode.
Exactly.
Which I like that. They don't need they
And
don't need the game material.
and that's why I had to give it so much props, is because it, besides like the first 3 minutes and the last like 5-10 minutes, it is its own complete brand new story that has nothing to do with the game. And these are based off characters that had a one-off line. Like we didn't even know they were gay in the or together or anything. Like Frank is just mentioned in the
Yeah.
in I
He's just
if,
He's
hanging.
already dead.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's just hanging.
Mhm.
So it's so good. I think episode. I think for me, I have to give episode 3 as like the edge because of how unique it is. However, just for all intents and purposes, the finale is probably my favorite.
Finale tough. Shit goes hard.
Mhm.
OCL, which one do you
Okay.
want to go next?
Smoke, you got it.
Sure. Obviously the finale. I mean, I could talk until I'm blue in the face about that shit. I mean, I fucking love this game. This was my favorite game for the longest time, and then obviously Spider-Man PS4, PS5, like
Yeah.
that threw a wrench into things because I thought this game was my
Yeah.
favorite of all time. That shit's good,
I
but
can't wait to talk
that's for another day. That's for another day. That game's
I
awesome
can't wait
though.
for that one.
But yeah, man. I mean, it's just like episode 9. It's just literally right from the game. Like all the best parts, like the ending when they played the theme from the game. Like initially when you're carrying fucking Ellie out and they start playing that theme. But then they integrate it in this when he's chopping up the hospital. It's like I was getting chills all over
They
again.
knew what they were
I'm
doing.
gonna have to watch
They
that
knew.
finale after this. Now I'm not gonna lie.
Dude, it's so
keen into
great.
it.
And like they accomplished like such a great feat too, because like we know what's coming. We played the game, and yet somehow I still feel the chills all over again when I'm watching it. It's
I
just
won't forget because we all watched that together the
Yeah.
day before we left for Miami. So
yeah,
that shit was so fucking good. I was just like, we were all just pin drop dead silent watching that shit. Like that shit was just so good. Xander's leaning right now.
Holy
I'm
shit.
leaning.
That bull pack finally got him.
Had to
Tough
take a knee.
scene.
I'm fucking tight.
Fellas, take a seat.
Yeah, definitely the finale. Like, I mean, that's just far and away my favorite because it's just like the pinnacle of where this whole story is leading. Like Joel's choice, like even just like Ellie, like all of her monologues beforehand. Like, I'll follow you wherever you go, but there's no halfway with this. It's just like, damn.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite lines. I love that.
Yeah, it's like, god damn. Like it just stings a little bit more because you completely understand why Joel does what he does, and it's just like, but was it right? That's who can decide that. There's no right answer there.
We don't know if it was right. Would Ellie have made that choice herself or not?
And that's the
She
thing.
definitely
I
would
don't-
have.
She would have sacrificed herself. Yeah,
Would
she
have
would've
absolutely
Yeah.
herself.
I just think that
She touches-
Marlene
yeah,
and Joel,
for sure.
they didn't know what the like. If Joel wouldn't ask her because he knew that Ellie would say that, and I think Marlene thought that she would. It was just so.
She just didn't
like,
want to take that chance. Like Marlene
Yeah.
was so invested in her cause with the Fireflies that she didn't want to take that chance. And Joe knows Ellie so
knew.
well that he knew that she would sacrifice herself. Even in the second game, she touches on that by saying, like, like that was my only like purpose in life at that point, and I would have like sacrificed my life.
Yeah, she even
And I
like hinted
feel
that
like-
towards the end, like the final scene, when she's
Yeah.
like, first it was Riley, then it was Tess. Like she wanted her
Yeah.
life to mean something,
And then
Now
Sam,
it doesn't.
All these people died for her,
And that's what's so interesting.
Now it meant
Like
nothing.
Joel almost takes that from her, like the gift of like a glorious death. Like it's almost like she wants
Yeah.
to just mean something, and Joel robs that from her. And that's like I
That's
understand.
where the moral question comes into play.
Right, exactly, because like you didn't let her make her own decision. He made his own decision. I mean,
Mhm.
I fucking love it for him. He's
Oh,
that
yeah,
man.
I'm not
He
mad
the
at
goat.
it.
He the goat.
He took what he needed.
He tough.
But Dio, what's your favorite episode?
It's so tough. Like I know some of you guys are literally just saying like 1 or 2 or 3 episodes. I would just say 8 into 9. I think 8,
Yeah.
like just all that shit with Joel, the kind of being out of commission, and Ellie kind of just like fending for herself. Because like that's obviously a huge moment just for Ellie in general. Because then she has that whole fucking debacle with the cannibals and stuff. But
Which
Chopping
I don't know
down.
why
That-
we did that earlier. That's also a phenomenal scene.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I like just that guy. I forgot his name. I'm
David?
freaking David. Yes, like he did a fabulous job because we had so many like we kind of had a revolving door of characters going throughout this entire series because the stories there's so much going on. Where like you got to just kind of cycle these guys in and out. Like you had friggin' Tess, she was gone. Like you had all these, but out of all of them, like he was just the most. Like I mean, he was like the most like I was sold on him being like kind of being in an apocalypse where like, he's actually fucking crazy. Where like the other characters are like. I don't know. It just had like that kind of like super like real factor to it when he's literally just like kind of just being like yeah we eat people and he's kind of just cool with that and like that whole scene where she's freaking shanking him to pieces. That shit is so
Yeah, well,
tough.
he's also fucking a word we can't say on YouTube. So
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean I'm not idolizing. I'm just saying that his character's written well.
no,
Like, I'm not
yeah, his
friggin-
character's written and
Yeah.
played very well. I'm
exactly.
not
Like he said,
questioning
he's sick. Like he's literally a sicko. Like that's what I'm saying why it's so good.
Yeah, he
Because like,
plays
he's,
it
like,
really
like
well.
I believe that's what I'm saying. I believe that this guy's actually doing this shit. Like he's fucking not right.
And-
Like even like
And
the
of course,
like
they
the
had Troy
sermons he-
Baker in there as well.
Mhm.
Cameo.
Yeah, that was Brando.
Yeah. Oh
The
yeah.
man.
Joel.
He got
They had
diced.
to.
That was tough.
Mhm. Oh, yeah, with the little-
he got
yeah.
fucked.
Yeah, she just
I
jams it in his fucking
I
neck.
do appreciate that they did have cameos from all the characters. I mean, like, even they even had Abby's.
Abby, Yeah, she was
Yeah.
one of the nurses in the last episode.
Bullshit. Yeah. Fuck Abby.
Mhm.
Though.
She was the one that got fucking, or that didn't get shot. She was the one that was screaming pretty much the whole time, I believe.
Yeah, I can't even
It's
touch
cool.
on in the second game because
We don't wanna
like
speak
people
on
who
never
haven't
played
played
it.
that one. Yeah, don't want to. I can't spoil season 2 for people who haven't.
There's
played
no
the
point
second
playing
game.
it.
Yeah.
That's
A
all I'll
lot of
say.
people haven't. Even
No
people who
reason.
played the first game knows the second one's trash. They haven't played it.
Look, like I
No
said,
reason.
at one point in the future, if I get the game for like $20, I'll try it to give my own opinion to just to say I did it.
Still not cheap enough. It needs to be like
Yeah.
15 or 10.
It would have to be free, and I would have to be paid for the time that I'm playing it as a wage.
You can buy a lot of things at $20. You can like actually see a decent
Yeah,
movie, like
yeah.
go out to eat. Like
That's true.
it's just
Decent
ain't worth
movie.
it.
No such thing. No such thing. Decent movie. Not until Barbie. Not until Barbie. comes
And
out.
Oppenheimer.
And Oppenheimer.
too.
Are you guys doing the double
Yeah.
feature?
Cillian Murphy.
That's
I think
sickening.
we
I
have to
couldn't.
do
I
the
couldn't.
double
I
I
feature.
couldn't.
kind of want to. I kind
My
of
gotta
want
play,
to.
I would be
12-hour
numb.
box.
I would
12
be
box and double
numb
feature.
going in. Like, especially if Oppenheimer's second on the slate, that movie's gonna be like 3
No.
hours long. Like, we're gonna be
Oppenheimer
fucking vegetable.
Oppenheimer
You're gonna be a
first.
vegetable, but
Yeah.
entering that
Oppenheimer
theater.
first.
Oppenheimer. No, this is what you do. Box
With
beforehand.
a Barbie to lean
Oppenheimer
back.
first. Go to the bathroom, rip the fuck out of your pen, and then go to Barbie.
We need a
Yeah.
layover in the box between these movies.
I say we
Yeah.
just
Fucking
rebox.
like-
We're just gonna tap into
Yeah.
the box again and rebox.
Let's just
Yeah,
leave it
Alright, but
box.
back-
We just got to get out quick.
Back,
and then come
back
back.
to The Last of Us. Like, no more box
We're
chat.
drawing up the
It just
plans.
exactly. It appeared out of nowhere.
2 months away.
What were we talking about? I'm just thinking about it right now. No.
Yeah. But I guess
Abby was like as a cameo in that.
Yeah,
episode.
yeah.
You guys
I
lost
mean,
some
it's all love between all of these, like the characters, like past and
Yeah.
present. Like
It's a love letter to the series.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's like they see the way he's chefing, the way these episodes, like the way that he's directing. They're like, let me at least pull up because obviously they're
Let me get a
the freaking
slice.
OGs. Yeah, exactly.
But I guess just because we are getting a little long here. I mean, we knew this episode was going to be long, but we're going to go right into our favorite quotes, which I'm sure everybody
Oh, yeah.
knows them.
We've already
especially-
said so many of them.
We've been churning them off. I mean, I'll do it
Yeah.
again. I love this show.
I mean, yeah, just if anybody just wants to list a few quick, and then we'll move on.
I mean, literally all the ones we said. I mean, anything that comes out of Joel's mouth when he's making that one freaking face, he's just got that chirping face where he just knows.
I just
he's
say that
chatting.
you'd come after her. That's one of the tough
Yeah.
ones. You
Yeah,
just
of
come
course,
after her.
of course.
Like he's not letting you live. Like she's sitting there begging for her life. She should have known.
Yeah.
Should have known.
Yeah, I mean, it's the joint I said when Joel's freaking like on his hands and knees. And he's like, I didn't have any other option. He's like, but I do. And the way he's just fucking looking at it, like he's literally ready to pounce on her ass. Like he's fucking
Mhm.
Of course.
menacing.
I mean,
I
like
know.
when he's talking to Ellie anytime in the last episode, all their quotes are good. Like we said before, like, oh, I guess time heals all wounds. It wasn't time that did it. And he's giving that
Yeah.
puppy dog face. I'm like, fucking hell, Pedro. You're fucking my shit up, man.
Yeah. Shit
Yeah.
tough.
I mean, even
There's just so many good quotes. I feel like.
even Ellie going in about how like the whole conversation about how she's not Sarah, she's not his
Mhm.
daughter, and then
Yeah, he's like, you're not my daughter.
you're right,
Yeah.
you're not her, and you won't ever be.
Mhm. I like the fucking test when she's like, "Save what you can" to Joel, like before she
Yeah.
fucking pieces out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she
I was
ices
literally
it,
just
yeah.
thinking about that too. I just love the tone of that episode. I feel like those first couple episodes are like super freaking like before Joel and Ellie
just
kind of
feel
like
like
get
the
their
game.
bond where yeah, exactly. But before they get like more comfortable with each other, like when they're all just on edge and hostile at all points, like I really like the tone of like when you're at that point when you literally just have like her just pulling up and just I don't know like Tess realizing that she doesn't have that long left and she's just going up to Joel like you said like that whole speech that she gives him she's like shut up. She's just like fucking
Mhm.
listen.
Like, don't run your
Mhm.
mouth, you fool.
Yeah, exactly.
I just feel like there's so many good quotes on the show. Like,
Yeah. It's also a TV show too, so it's like I don't remember the quotes themselves, but I know like I could just say like I mean the quotes between I mean the interaction between friggin'
Hold up.
I mean there's so many. I'm trying to think of like one in particular.
Even Bill and Frank when he was like, "I was never afraid
Yeah.
before you showed up."
Yeah,
Like there's
Oh.
so many of
Yeah,
them. like,
that episode definitely had a lot.
even when Joe finally tells Ellie, like, "I got you, baby girl," like finally acknowledging her, like he feels like
yeah.
she's
That
like
was
his
tough.
daughter
Yeah, that was
finally.
tough.
Like that was
Mhm.
episode 8. That's why I love that episode.
Hits her with the
after
first
she
baby
chops that
girl,
fool
yeah.
up.
Yeah, as he
Yeah.
pulls up out of there. There's just so many tough scenes and quotes.
Yeah, but I guess just like we said, we were rambling on a bunch before. This the game and the show are just very quote heavy. So,
Mhm.
and I think that this might be the first game I fucking play when I tap into the new apartment. But just for sake of time, also for TV shows, stuff like this, we're gonna skip the next category we normally would do and just skip right to the wonderful thirsty moment of the show.
Is there a thirsty moment in the show?
I was gonna say, is there even
I
one?
don't think so.
Yeah,
I don't think so. But
I feel like
Hold on. I'm
this
thinking.
this category is one we cannot skip, so we're doing it anyway. This is our staple category. We can't get rid of it.
he's thinking.
Tess.
Yeah.
I'll give it to Tess.
Younger Tess, maybe. I don't know.
Weird. Fucking grasping. I feel like there's literally
You can see the smoke.
there's
You can see the
nothing.
smoke coming out of my ears. Fucking,
Yeah.
I'm fucking thinking.
There's nothing.
literally-
Unfortunately, this is very story driven and very like.
Yeah.
I can't even say what I want to say because it's fucking like not the character, but the actress Storm Reed in real life. I think she's cute. The actress Storm Reed. She's of
What-
age. She's like 20.
That's
who's
what's her
from-
face, Riley, right?
Yeah, this bitch. I think she's cute.
Oh, yo,
Storm Reed,
yeah. I've seen her before.
Yeah, I'm not talking about
No.
the character. I'm talking
No,
about
not
the
the
actress.
characters, but the
Yeah.
actress. Yeah.
That's why I didn't want to speak on it.
Besides,
Photos for the
For the
keep going.
gram.
just in case anybody was curious. Just in case anybody
Yeah,
needed
this
that.
the actual thirsty moment of the show.
Jesus,
The actual
got a
thirsty
kid.
moment.
jeez, no, that's a
Nah,
dog.
that's a dog. That's a dog. Hold
I
on.
couldn't fucking say.
What the hell?
Come
man?
on now. I'm on air right now. Come on, man.
The thirsty
Come
moment
on,
of the
man.
show is fucking.
Yeah,
it's being
exactly, literally.
manufactured.
It's
The
actually,
thirsty
yeah.
moment's on
Yeah.
it.
But I guess
It's
then,
actually fucking. It's actually thirsty.
yeah, it's getting
It's on
thirsty.
air. It's live reaction.
I guess then,
Yeah,
without further ado, of course, as usual, every Saturday-ish, we take to our Instagram at the Staincast to ask you guys a lovely question, get you guys involved, get your responses. Like I said,
Yeah.
I fucked up and probably should have asked a different question, but it's okay.
Ask it on next week's.
Yeah, this week we asked you guys two things. One, if you were excited for season 2, and two, if you think the game,
Nah.
this adaptation served the game justice. Surprisingly, for the for season 2, 80% of people are excited. 20%
They're
are
lying
not.
to us and they're lying to themselves.
Who was the people that said no?
You and Paco.
Hey, Paco, let's go.
Everybody else said
I
no.
mean,
Hold it down.
Like I'll watch it, like, because the first season gave me goodwill. Like, I think that they've earned my view. I don't think I'm gonna enjoy it though. I just like
Yeah, I'll see what they're cooking.
I'm
Yeah.
cautiously optimistic because they did say they are making heavier changes on the second season than they did to the first.
Sure thing.
I just
Yeah,
I don't.
sure.
It
I
just the
still
shit.
don't-
I'm not gonna start spoiling, but the shit that happens in that
They're gonna
game,
do
you
it.
can't dance around. You
I
can't
know.
dance around it.
They're gonna. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that it'll happen in episode 1, but it's gonna happen. There's no. But the only other thing is I can't see them getting rid of Pedro like that.
I say episode 2
I
because
said
episode
they,
1.
I said they can.
Episode
Pedro
2,
is
I feel
fucking
like.
literally locked up
He's
he's in so many different.
he's expensive
Like,
too.
He's one, expensive, and two, he's got his freaking hands tied. He's been trying to get out of Disney for longer. Clearly, he doesn't want something long term. And I mean, this is literally the piece of cake.
Mhm.
Like if you were giving someone a job, it's like, oh, I'm not trying to be here too long. Literally give him that because like he's there for the season,
Yeah.
and then what, like
That's
a quarter of the way, 2 quarters, like a half
Two
way through, you
episodes.
kill
I
him off.
say
It's
I
like,
say 2 episodes. I say
2 episodes.
That's
Okay,
fair.
yeah,
Max.
on the
exactly.
other
So like it's kind of like he gets to go out. I mean, we'll see how it goes out. But
we'll see how they handle
at
that.
least as acting wise, he gets to go out like freaking like pretty quickly. But it's still,
Yeah.
I mean, I was gonna say heroically, but
I'm just gonna get tight all over again.
On the
I
other
know it.
hand, or not on the other hand, but also we're not seeing this second season until like 2025,
yeah.
if that.
Mhm.
So
yeah, that's coming soon.
Yeah, so it's like,
Yeah.
who fucking knows what's going on with it at this point?
yeah,
But
exactly. Like so much can
as-
happen.
As for the second question, and the one that we actually got more in-depth responses on, if this was a justifiable and good adaptation of the source material. And straight off the bat, I'm going to tell you across the board, everybody said yes. But now I'm going to go into more of in depth. Olivia said yes, 100%, that she loves the casting for both Joel and Ellie. Mumbarilla says that both Pedro and Bella played their characters amazingly, building again off of more of what Olivia said. Isabel just said for sure. Joe the Ho's a fucking scrub, and I'm not surprised that he hasn't played this game, but fucking whatever.
Shocker.
Fire him.
Yes.
Throwing ass.
Nah,
Jacob
bro.
said yes.
He's the morale for the office. He's the morale for the office. Like him just
Yeah,
walking
that's
around
true.
in some tight jeans.
And
Yeah.
we're all good to go.
He's the guy everyone be slapping on the ass to get fired up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I can't
exactly. Mm-hmm. He's a
Jacob
little hand
just said
cushion.
yes. No elaboration.
The hood.
Just yes.
Yes.
Willie said couldn't tell you, but he's horny as fuck to play the game.
Oh, Willie, play the game, my man.
Well,
You will
Yeah.
love it. You will
And
love
then
it.
watch the show again.
Yes.
again.
he didn't own a PlayStation. Now us living together, I have the PlayStation and the game, so he will be playing it.
That's fire.
That's one of the
You're
first
gonna,
ones.
have to put him, you're gonna have to put him on God of War too for show. He'll fuck with that game.
And Spider-Man.
The list in this order of what to play is Last of Us, Fallen Order, Survivor, Spider-Man, God of War. In that order.
Damn, God of War.
That's an
deep.
extensive
God of War last.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Come on, now. God of War deep.
I love Fallen Order, but God of War a better game, honestly.
I think
Oh,
Spider-Man over Fallen Order.
yeah.
Spider-Man over Fallen Order.
Spider-Man,
He's a big Star Wars fan. He's a
he
huge
is
Star
a
Wars
Star
fan.
Wars fan.
Yeah, it's like if it wasn't Star Wars, it would be an alright game because the customization when you have a game like God of War, it literally looks puny. Like it looks like a game from 10 years ago that took 10 people to make it compared to God of War when you literally have. I mean, I'm not gonna go.
Combos.
Like,
Compared to the combos in God of War.
yeah, exactly. A story for another time when we talk more about video games. But
Okay,
you guys know what we're talking about.
Smoke, I'm going to skip yours because we'll obviously talk about it in a second.
I don't remember what I said, but let's get it.
And then the last response we got was from RP24, not to be confused with Chet Stable, who said definitely there were a lot of scenes that were ripped straight from the game, which we have been talking about the entirety of this. Smoke, I'll let you start first, just because I'll read your response and then see if you have anything to add to it. But you said yes, plus it expanded on the lore in spirit of the game, and then in parentheses you said mostly.
Mostly. What was I thinking? Oh, yeah. So, it's so fucking hard, man, because it's like, mostly I was just talking about episode 3, and it's not in a negative connotation at all, because like, I actually really like the way that they took it in a different direction. It's a TV drama, right? Like, you can't, that entire, like, the whole Bill section of the game, you're just in a maze and a trap getting one fight after the other. It's insanity. You can't make a television show like that.
No, it'd be boring as fuck, repetitive.
I just think it's interesting, I guess is the word I'd use, that of all the characters in the show, everybody meets the same end except Bill. And I don't know how, like, I like his ending. I just feel like,
I think his
why did they change him?
I think his ending is better in the show than it is in the game.
I'm fine with his ending in the show. I just think it's interesting that, like, of all the characters to change the ending, I mean, I get you can't change the ending for, like, Joel, Ellie, etc. I just think it's interesting that they did it with Bill. That's why I
feel like
mostly.
he was more of a throwaway character
Right.
than the others.
They just completely fleshed him out.
Which is,
So, like,
again,
I wish he
not bad.
interacted with Joe though post flashback. I'm happy he died with his husband, but I wish he didn't. And like him and Joel had that like whole high school like the school scene where they're going trying to get the parts. Like I just love that like part in the game, but it's more of a game
like,
scene though.
If it was a prequel for his character to that, I would be like, oh, that's awesome. I think it's interesting
Yeah,
again.
exactly. Yeah,
It just
If it
changes
was a
like that
prequel.
slight aspect. I mean, at the end, Joel still gets the truck, so it's really
Yeah,
A to
exactly.
B.
It
You
doesn't
still get to
matter.
the same fucking spot. It's just
Yeah,
the
it
doesn't
journey's
matter.
different.
It's just it works better doing it the way they did in the game. It works better as a game. And
Yes.
his ending in
110%.
the show just works better as a show. Just
Yes.
because
Yeah.
it would be repetitive.
Fighting endless waves of zombies is not peak
Exactly.
television.
In a
like-
gym, like, yeah.
exactly.
That's what I want to watch.
The bloater would have been pretty cool. Yeah, like I mean, but they already
They
put
did
that
it
in
later
the other
on.
episode. Yeah.
That was like the whole bloater reveal live like type of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, the way, oh my god, that shit was crazy. How many of them came flying out of that hole, bro?
They dropped the
And,
whole
like, just-
budget in just that episode.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
holy.
it was just that.
And why were they just in that hole? Like they weren't in the other underground; they were in that underground. Like, they were fucking lurking too. They were waiting.
Them bastards
And
were quick too. They came out like
You know, that's what I'm saying. They were rolling. I mean, like they've
were
been
flying
a
out
lot of
there.
these guys have been around for a long time. Like they're clickers and shit by now. Like they're fucking nice. They're sliding.
But I guess for me, I'm just building off what everybody says. This is a phenomenal adaptation. It builds everywhere that it needs to. It adds so much. It takes perfect like one for one scenes that it needs to from the game. It hits every
Mhm.
story beat it needs to perfectly. The acting is phenomenal. It's a phenomenal adaptation, and it's just we need more
Yeah.
more video games adapted in this way.
Yeah, no more of that Uncharted business. No more of
Yeah,
that
because
Mortal
because
Kombat.
Fucking Assassin's
what's
Creed with Michael Fassbender.
yeah.
You just have to have
It's
people
like
who care about the source material
yeah.
making the fucking show. That's the difference. Like you could tell everybody who loves this show, like, was a part of it. Like they all love making it. It's
That's
just like you have Uncharted. Like that was, let's hire the biggest stars, stick them in this movie,
Yeah.
call it a
like
day.
yeah, and call it a movie. Like that's a cash grab. It's soulless. It's not what we want to
Mhm.
see.
The movie was awful, boring, fell
It's just
asleep in the
Mark.
theater. That never
Yeah.
happens.
I feel like that's the problem with a lot of these video game like adaptations is that they want it quick and clean. Like they don't want like The Last of Us is the only unless I'm blanking. I feel like it's like one of the only video game adaptations that's like more sophisticated than the video game at points. Where like it's building more than the video game did. You're playing as these fucking characters. Like it's just so like it's
Yeah.
it's just such a
I mean,
or
the
like
only-
not the only game, but like the only video game adaptation. But like, it does it so well. It's something you can miss in a lot of them.
The only other good video game adaptations we have are what? The two Sonic movies, the Mario movie, and questionably Detective Pikachu. Questionably.
No.
Detective Pikachu.
Very, that is a massive question mark.
Nah.
A massive
I said
question mark.
questionably. I said
Some
questionably.
people enjoyed
Yeah.
it, but me
I was gonna say,
personally,
I said
Okay, so I will edit my statement. Live action. Oh no, Sonic is technically.
They're all live action, except for fucking Mario.
That's what I'm saying though, because I'm not Detective Pikachu ain't in the conversation, is what I'm saying.
The Sonic movies. The Sonic movies. Those are good.
Yeah,
Those are
okay.
actually good. You can't tell me otherwise.
I don't like the main character. I don't fuck with that guy. I don't know his name, and I don't fuck with him. Just
He's
the way
not
he
even
looks.
he's barely fucking in it. He's just
He's a
fucking
weasel.
there.
He's a fucking weasel. Nah,
I don't care.
He was
He's
definitely.
Cyclops,
He
right?
was,
He's
he-
fucking
he-
Aren't there like 6 guys in Hollywood that look exactly like him? I feel like
Yeah.
I don't know his name. I don't know who he
Miles
is.
Teller, he looks like fucking. Like,
He's just
He's hideous.
White
He's too handsome.
brunette guy.
I got,
That's all he
yeah,
is.
I don't fuck.
that's all I know him as is Cyclops and Donut Lord.
Oh yeah, he was Cyclops, wasn't he?
He was Cyclops. He was the first Cyclops.
That's
yes.
what get
Oh
me
my
tight. But yes, I mean it's just when you're cutting scenes straight from the game and like you're not even trying to. I mean, obviously they made it so like there's no like second input they want to put into it, but like they don't even try to change anything. Like, all the scenes that like you said like they hit every beat that they needed to, and like that's why I appreciate it so much because they realize that less is more in a case like this when you already have the foundation is so rich. Like it's like same thing like with Star Wars. You get into this big franchise where it's like you could give someone with no creative ability just like 10 minutes of playing that game and you can freaking turn it into whatever the hell you want it to, and but by still keeping it freaking
And just to add to
super
that too,
grounded
it's
for
like I
this.
think totally off of what you were saying, I feel like the difference is that The Last of Us was willing to take that one step further. Like shows like Uncharted, like they'll give you a shot from the video game and that's it. They're like, okay, fans loved it, like
for a trailer,
let's make it
for a
again and
trailer.
again.
And there's no meaning. Like it doesn't.
Right.
It doesn't.
But
like,
in
fit
this,
the
like-
narrative, yeah.
Yeah, but in this you have like Joel breaking down to Tommy. That's not in the game. They made a change, took that one step
Mhm.
further, but it made sense to the character. Like I think that's the
Exactly.
difference. Like
Literally the
Yeah,
entirety.
they added
of
on the
it. Great.
scenes.
The entirety of it. So, but Xander, I don't know if you have anything else you want to add before we move on to the last topic and wrap things up.
Nah, I just gotta say everything that they do originally in the show, most of it works, and I feel like it definitely adds onto the games. Like like we were just talking about the scene with Tommy. Like he talks with Tommy about taking Ellie, but he doesn't like break down like that. Like
right.
it's just little stuff like that that just adds up accumulatively. Like it just makes it a bigger like fucking show.
Yeah. So, well, thank you guys all,
Completely
of
agree.
course, for your responses. We look forward. Stay tuned this Saturday for another wonderful question of the week.
Like I see them ranked, but it's not in freaking order. It's not ascending or descending order. See, it's just freaking sucking
It should be
me.
listed. So that's why you say, okay, the highest rated episode is this. The lowest rated
Yeah.
episode was this.
Yeah, this is intuitive. Let me tell you. All right, so the highest rated episode is episode 5, Endurance. So it's the one with Henry. Mm. It's a very close. I mean, the second place is very close at a 9.3, which is episode
with
8.
David.
Yeah, with David.
Yeah.
That one makes sense. I'm surprised
that
that
one tough. Like I knew that one would be high.
I'm surprised that that episode 5
Episode 3 was
is
3.
They are hating
Oh, wow,
on the Left
friggin-
Behind one.
Whoa!
They're hating on friggin' the finale. Yeah, look at this. So we got. Yeah, so we got. Yeah, no, some of the stuff's getting smoked. So it's definitely there was like a run.
Nah, they violating.
Yeah, 8.
They're
Yeah.
violating. What's
So,
who's rating
where
this?
was I?
Who's rating this? Fans? It's the fans, right?
No, this is IMDb.
Yeah.
So this is...
Who? But who?
Then
Like that's
people
just,
popped out
everyone
just to
rates
hate, bro.
IMDb, though.
I'm just telling you right now, people popped out just to hate. So I'm gonna shot.
Yeah,
Here's
they
some
were like
numbers
6
for you
times
guys.
the amount of votes.
Yeah, that's what I'm
just
saying.
think
Like
any episode that
40,000,
had to do with anything
53.
like gay or
Keep looking
homosexual,
at it.
Like they're just hating on.
It's just
People
they're just review
pulling
bombing
up
it.
to hate. Yeah.
Oh
they're
my
pulling up to
God!
hate.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
they're
it's definitely
pulling
just
up.
getting review bombed.
Because this is the first episode, so of course that's gonna
But
have a
like I
lot
said,
just because it's the
anything
first
with
Yeah,
the
that one's
episode.
gonna happen
They're
most.
hating
It's
on.
the first
And then you
episode.
have 219,000. Like the average, I would say, is probably like
Yep,
70 or
they're
80. No, less than that.
hating.
Literally less, probably 60.
Even look at the Left
Basic.
Behind too. They're hating too.
Yeah, no, what they give Left Behind? They gave that joint a
Because even
7.3.
for
7.
like yeah, they're 7.3 hating. You see, it's
What the fuck is this
63,000
thing?
compared to 54 the episode before, and then 53 the episode after.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't make sense
Yeah.
for an episode right in the
Yeah,
middle.
they're
Like,
hating.
that's what I mean. Like
Yeah.
people are just they're just hating.
There's hate and hate.
Like because it's not a bad episode at all. It's one of the better ones
Yeah.
too.
So I'll just say
Definitely not
it's a
the
top
weakest
3.
episode.
I'll just say the top 3 is the Endurance Survive, the what's the 9.3? Where'd 9.3 go?
It's at the top.
Endurance Survive, and then 8.
That was the
Yeah, so it goes 5, 8, and then
1 and 2 are tied.
yeah. Okay.
All right.
The fact that finale isn't in that conversation is kind of wild to me, but I guess that's probably just because it's the last episode. So like people who don't like the show are just not going to finish it. Like it's
Yeah.
kind of just like a
Yeah.
weird bias there, where it's like some people are just going to hate the show just because I don't know, they have their reasons, and there's not.
they came to episode 3 just to hate 200.
Oh yeah, bro. Oh my god, 219,000
And
freaking
it's
people.
crazy. It's
Whatever it
still got an 8 though. It's still got an 8. That's
Yeah.
how you know that episode was
That's how you know it's
was.
good.
I mean,
I'd love to
it
know
was
what
probably,
it looked like
I
without
mean,
all that.
Yeah, I mean, it probably goes both ways. You probably had people seeing the hate,
Yeah.
the hate slide in, and they slid in with the high views. Like it's probably fucked. Like it's probably just
Yeah,
super
it's
freaking-
both ways. Yeah.
Yeah.
More
It's a good
haters out there
episode.
on the
You should
internet.
watch it.
So.
But
Oh,
I
yeah, oh my
guess-
god, it's so much easier to hate.
That's true. But I guess going to the only numbers that actually matter, and I think that after long consideration, we are going to just do a similar rating system to how we always do, because it still makes sense. It doesn't
Yeah.
change much. So
I mean, especially in the circumstances of this show, it doesn't change very much. It's pretty.
this show is
straightforward.
this show is 4 across the board. I can tell you that right now. Acting, cinematography, story, writing, rewatchability, originality, everything is a 4. It's a perfect 20 out of 20. I can't say more that we haven't already said already. Joel, Ellie, and all the side characters all played phenomenally by each of their respective
This
actors.
is the show. I give it a 4 also.
Yeah, this is-
Info.
I'll give it a 4.
What about Klay Thompson holding up the 4?
the story is phenomenal. Yes, it's the story from the game. However, the originality aspect comes into play there because they add so much to it. The little bits that they change are actually good changes.
Everything just gets enriched.
Yeah,
It's-
exactly.
it's just
Everything gets enriched. It's super rewatchable. Even just individual episodes are super rewatchable,
Mhm.
not end the series as a whole. And then, of course, finishing off with cinematography, this looks beautiful. I mean, the budget is fucking absurd. Absolutely
Yeah.
insane.
Isn't it one of the most expensive shows ever?
It is the
I think
most
it is.
expensive.
Yeah,
At
it
least
is.
on
Oh,
HBO
yeah.
Max. Not on
For sure.
Amazon. Lord of Rings of Power.
Lord
I
of the
think, is
Rings,
highest.
yeah.
I think it's
Oh,
106
it's
million. I think it's 100. I think it's 106 million
Lord
per
of the
episode
Rings
or
is
something like
mid.
that for their.
Sure.
Lord of
And
the
what are they
Rings
doing
mid.
with that?
Mid,
Lord of the Rings
mid.
mid.
How do you?
You're
I
gonna
don't- like, that's
you're gonna
something
get
to
people
talk
tight.
about
You're gonna
on
get
episode,
people
like,
tight. We have to talk
I don't
about it.
understand how do you
Good.
pump like billions of dollars into a show and it's just bad.
It's
I
just,
just don't. I don't get
Because surprise, throwing money at something doesn't make it good.
And surprise,
Someone
surprise,
needed
Lord
to
of the
hear
Rings
that.
is
Somebody
fucking
needed to hear that.
mid.
Hag hating.
Yeah.
I hate
Yeah.
that.
Lord of
All
the
right.
Rings.
I mean,
it's all
it's
right.
mid.
Lord of
It's
the
mid.
Rings.
You can't.
You talking about all the movies, like the original?
They're long and boring
You hate
and
So
it.
we're
drawn
Star
out.
Wars.
First one,
And
first
Okay,
one.
mid.
no,
I'll
this
give you
is
the
Star
first
Wars.
one
Star
mid.
Wars.
First one mid. The second and third. Are
Yeah, but New
actually
Hope's
good
mid
movies. First one
also.
mid.
But New
I
Hope's
didn't.
mid
I never made it.
also.
I never made
That's
it
what I
past.
said. The first one's always
Never
slow.
made it past an hour into the first one because it was
That's
so.
why.
fucking
The
boring.
second one's better. The third one's literally a whole fucking war going on. Like
I refuse to watch them because it's fucking
Gandalf
boring.
comes back. Like,
I mean,
it's just you gotta
I know
watch
the
Smoke's
full
it.
agreeing with
extended,
me
the
right
whole,
now.
the director's
Yeah,
cut
Smoke
Top
agree
it
with
mid.
me right
of
now.
Just couldn't finish it.
the director's cut of that joint is like 4 hours long. It's like 3 hours.
Yeah, that's the ones I watched. The fucking the 3 hour,
Yeah.
4 hour ones.
Mad
Yeah.
necessary.
Shit's
Mad
vile.
necessary.
It's yeah. I mean,
It's just
it adds
token. It's
actually.
it's just like something like Game of Thrones to a lesser degree. Like you don't have everybody walking around with fucking magic and shit. It's like it's very
It is
concentrated,
necessary, honestly.
and that's the appeal.
Because like years later now,
Unnecessary.
like the fans have all that content, like the extended ones that still rewatch. Like if they'd never released that, like people wouldn't have that to eat off of. So I feel like it was necessary. It's
But
like
Rings
if
of
they-
Power being ass is
it's-
not contingent on the story, anyways, because this is
yeah.
like it's like I said, they were just buying. Amazon bought a shiny fucking new toy and wanted to use it, and they don't know how to fuck to use it because all they see is dollar signs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if
Scrubs.
anybody else had anything else they wanted to add on top of my, we gave it a perfect score because this show fucking deserves it.
I think you're right. The cinematography was.
Yeah.
I can't believe we forgot too of like all the. I mean, I guess it wasn't really a scene, but the ending of episode 1 where they pan out over Boston and then you hear the clickers screeching in the distance. That shit was Epic City too. I just thought of that when we were talking about the
Even Ellie
cinematography.
walking over the bridge too. I like that from the. They took that shot from the game when they're
Yeah.
walking between the buildings. I'm like, I love that, and you see like the sunset in the
Yeah.
back or the skyline. It's nice.
Or the
so-
whole what have you seen? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing that's funny that like maybe just because I played the games, like I almost feel like I'm in the game when you get scenes where Joe's like, "Oh, hand me down that ladder" or something like that, where like it literally feels like you're having the dialogue in the game. If
From
I'm just
the
like
game,
having
yeah.
the little banter to Ellie.
There are
it's
some
done-
video game moments in this thing for
It's
sure.
done
Or like
so.
in episode 1 when that fucking car just comes and crashes and perfectly blocks the
Yeah.
alley. I'm like,
Yeah.
they couldn't escape that one. That one had to get in
Yeah,
there. Unfortunately,
they needed that.
See, I'll find another way around. Just fuck. It's a fucking
Literally,
The
car.
car,
Yeah.
the car
Just
literally
get-
is just like the fire's just running up and like what's setting on fire right now? Like
It's like-
It's yeah.
They
it's
couldn't
like they
resist
had
that
to
one.
do that.
But it's those little things that make it even better because
yeah,
it originally is a video game. So the
Yeah.
more you nod to
Yeah.
it in those
exactly.
simple ways like that, it's just gonna hit more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, got the TLC treatment for show.
But I guess, as usual, thank you guys for tuning in this week. Thank you to both Smoke and Xander for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you guys as always, especially for something as much of a banger as this is.
This show was a
Way to
long
pop
one.
out.
Holy smokes! I just saw the
Mhm.
clock. It's 10 o'clock. Jesus.
So,
Yeah.
of course,
We need some
as
dubs
usual,
after this.
make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube. Hit that like button. Don't forget to ring that bell. Go over to our Instagram at the Staincast. Follow. Turn on post notifications. Click that link in our bio to our Redbubble to buy some merch. And stay tuned for this Saturday for our lovely teaser
No
and
more
question
Xander.
of the week for, unfortunately, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
Oh,
as we
come
will
on.
The
be-
MCU Staincast is back.
Thank you,
It's
Staincast is
back. We're back,
Yeah.
baby.
At least the classics. The
Yeah,
classic
it's been a
back
very
to
long
formula.
time.
I'll pop out for that.
Yeah,
After
exactly.
the MCU Staincast.
Yeah, it's been a while, but we have a controversial movie to talk about. This is the hopefully the last controversial
Just
thing
bad.
before we get into fucking Guardians.
Just bad. Not controversial, just bad.
Kang
It's
loses
Not
to
the
ants.
last because
Yeah.
we got the
Kang
Marvels
loses
after.
to ants.
We got
Yeah.
the Marvels after.
Fine.
this,
If you're
after
curious, tune in for the next
Yeah,
episode.
tune
We
in
will
next
be
week.
chatting
We'll
all
talk
about
about
that.
this more in depth. So thank you
Don't
guys
forget
again,
Echo
and we will
dropping.
see you. Shut the fuck up. We'll see you next
Watching
week.
that.
Now, I'm
Yeah,
gonna-
sure.
DL, do we still want to do the numbers, but do we want to do comparing the episodes, seeing like what's the highest rated episode and stuff like that?
That'd be tough. And I feel like it
Right?
would get really wordy. Like if I'm just saying like 1,
Mhm.
5, 4, 3, 7,
You-
8.
IMDb
5.
has the whole season broken down by episodes.
But I'm saying it's still gonna be fucking word salad. But I'm just saying, fucking shouting numbers out like,
it's
oh, I
not.
fucking with a.
You put it up on the screen and you go, oh, they said that episode 3 is the highest rated episode, and episode 7 is the lowest rated.
Oh, I thought you were talking about I'm fucking ranking it.
No, you're not
Hold
ranking
on.
shit. I'm saying we go on IMDb. You go. This episode's
Okay,
rated
yep,
the highest.
yep,
This episode
yep.
rated the lowest. Yada yada yada.
My
We're done.
dick. My dick.
Okay.
Fuck you. I'm not talking to you, bitch.
All right.
I think, bitch. Yeah,
Hate,
sure,
hate,
sure.
Hate?
yeah. OD hating going on right now. Holy fuck.
Heck, you gotta leave the tweez and ask, man.
Yeah.
You gotta
Making
take
me
whatever's left
violent.
in that pack, just leave it in the fridge.
No.
Ugh. I can't. After that run that we had in Osk, I can't drink twee like that anymore.
Rocket
Every
Pop.
weekend we were pounding it back.
Yeah, it was kind of
The
vile.
tweet god.
How do I
do kind
even
of
friggin' do this?
because they're too much for me. I do have to say I have found more shit that I like to drink, so it's not just tweez that I'm drinking. This is just what I have in the fridge.
What's
right
the new Hag? What you on these days?
Simply Peach is pretty good. The Truly Margarita pack is really good.
Where am I
there's a
going
couple
for this
of
shit?
What?
Yeah, that literally is fucking.
It literally is the
That's
sword
what
fight.
I was like, I can count, dude.
Nobody's echoing right now, I don't think, right?